got you! Hello my lunatics, I'm Moon Spirit. It's no doubt Mega Man has been a huge video game rock star for nearly 2 decades. That is until Capcom decided to focus on other projects. But he is no stranger to TV. From his appearance in Captain N to his own show that we 90s kids fondly remember. But there is one Mega Man cartoon I don't think many are aware of, and that is Mega Man Upon a Star. Developed for ADV Films, distributor of Neon Genesis Evangelion, Full Metal Panic, and my favorite, Azumanga Daioh, Upon a Star was a 3-episode OVA made in 1993 featuring the titular Blue Bomber. Believe it or not, this came before the animated TV show just by 1 year. This would not get the dub treatment until 2002, under the ADV Kids moniker, which I cannot find much info on except that it's on this DVD. Either way, this mostly served as a type of educational anime that talks about Japan, starring Mega Man. But enough about that. Strap on your Mega Busters, for this is Mega Man Upon a Star. The opening is really cool as Mega Man battles the Mega Man 5 Robot Masters with a pretty kick-ass song in the background. Take a listen. Our story begins with Yuta playing Mega Man 5 while his sister Akane goes to bed. After being it for nearly all night, he falls asleep. While that's happening, we head into the game world as Dr. Wily sulks in his defeat. The characters are well aware that they are in a video game, and Wily takes the opportunity of escaping into the real world through the TV screen. Don't question it, just go with it. Mega Man and the others can leave the game world in inconsistent ways. I mean, it's a cartoon, so don't worry about it too much. Especially since Wily flees by jumping off the window, and by next morning, he's gone. Anyway, as morning arrives, Yuta fidgets with his NES controller, and out comes Mega Man. Their mom and dad come to check up on them, and the kids explain who Mega Man is, and they just accept that fact. Alrighty then. Mega Man tells Yuta's family about Dr. Wily's plans, and asks for their help. Unfortunately, Yuta and Akane have to go to school, so their dad will show Mega Man around by commuter train, which he gives an educational lesson about. But Mega Man realizes that it would take too long, so he hitches a ride on Rush to find Wily. But then, newsflash! Dr. Wily's attacking an amusement park, so Mega Man is on the way.
These robots need a taste of my laser blaster!
Mega Buster! Mega Man fends off most of the robots, but Dr. Wily has a trick up his sleeve as he summons all his robots to form a gigantic pseudo-Yamato Man, which he dubs Samurai Man. Mega Man attacks with Power Stone, but are treated like mere pebbles, and then tries Star Crush. But even that fails. So Mega Man makes a hasty retreat to Yuta's school as he waits for his classes to end so he can replenish his energy. Sometime later, Wily has found Mega Man and attacks the school. Mega Man attacks with a combination of Charge Kick and punching a soccer ball into Samurai Man, which destroys it easily. I would say that is pathetic for Wily, but I'm more intrigued by the fact that this would later become Mega Man 8's Mega Ball.
I don't give up that easily, because I'm a ninja! Huh? Here's a smoke bomb!
Whoa!
Well, that's one wily way to escape. Mega Man faints from the tussle and is brought to Yuta's classroom, and the kids educate him about school cafeteria stuff because educational anime, but remembers Mega Man needs energy cans from the game. Yuta, however, recalls that he has cram school to attend, but Akane gets his priorities straight.
Yuta, Mega Man needs your help right now. You're right. I will help you, Mega Man. This is important. I'll have to skip class. You guys go without me.
Gee, I wonder how those kids explained that to their teacher.
Sorry, Sensei, Yuta can't come to class today. Oh, what's wrong with Yuta? Is he sick? Oh no, Yuta has to help Mega Man stop Dr. Wily from taking over Japan. No, he really is helping Mega Man to save Japan. No, really, he is trying to take over Japan. Children, assume your positions, now!
Mega Man and Yuta return and summon Eddie to get revitalized.
That's why I called you.
Aye,
suspect you need energy cans, but there are many energy cans and energy weapons. What'll it be, huh? Which ones do you want?
All of them!
All of them? What a surprise. No problem, but it's wiser to use them a little at a...
Just shut up and give him some E-tanks!
Okay!
After being replenished, Mega Man takes Yuta with him to search Japan for Wily. They reach a volcano and deduce that Dr. Wily will unleash his master plan at Japan's most active volcano, Mount Fuji. And they were right, as Mount Fuji erupts and Wily releases his lava men to wreak havoc. Mega Man intercepts and attacks with Water Wave on the lava men, but are unfortunately overwhelmed by the huge plethora of enemies, to the point that Yuta becomes overcome by the heat. Luckily, Proto Man and Beat come in for the assist, thanks to Akane.
We have to blow it out with the Super Mega Buster.
Close enough. I mean, it's better than Laser Blaster. Mega Man then blasts his way to Dr. Wily's lab to stop him, but Wily releases all his robot masters to destroy him. But luckily, Beat and Proto Man arrive for support. Alright, time for an epic boss rush! Well, that was anticlimactic. Dr. Wily makes his escape in a rocket, but Proto Man and Beat redirect the rocket back into the lair, where Yuta and Akane brought their TV and Famicom to trap him back in the game. Which it does, both the giant rocket and Wily, despite both devices being on without a power source. Whatever. The episode ends with Mega Man saying their farewells to everyone as he heads back in the game, with everyone waving goodbye, including Wily. Episode 2 begins as Mega Man attacks Wily's new fortress. Of course, it's Yuta playing Mega Man again, only this time a festival is coming up and Akane tries to get Yuta to stop playing, which leads to Mega Man's fight with Dr. Wily becoming a bit chaotic.
No, Yuta, because you'll never stop!
Oh, don't do that!
During the struggle, Mega Man is teleported back to the real world. Don't question it, just go with it. Whereas Dr. Wily gets teleported elsewhere as well. Dr. Wily seems to have been teleported by Dr. Light, accompanied by Roll, who is mistaken for Mega Man. Wily takes advantage of the situation and gasses them with knockout gas, then hijacks what seems to be a time machine. Roll comes to and attempts to stop Wily from stealing the time machine, but she gets gassed again, which in turn accidentally activates the machine and they are then teleported. Back in the real world, Mega Man gets educated about Japan's customs on New Year's celebrations, but the celebration is interrupted by Dr. Wily and Roll's sudden appearance outside their apartment building. And once again, Dr. Wily proclaims another plan to take over Japan, while making his escape. We cut to Roll waking up in the reaches of outer space. Wily reveals his plans to Roll that he will collect huge meteorites from the present day and hurl them into the future to destroy Japan and quite possibly the world. He begins his scheme by unleashing his gigantic robot on Japan, with Roll as a hostage. Mega Man goes in to intercept, but Wily teleports a meteorite onto Mega Man as a demonstration for his plan.
Next time, I'll make an even bigger one fall on Japan.
I won't let that happen! What the?
Thankfully, Rush came in for the save, but he has also brought Mega Man goggles that Dr. Light made for him so he can see an open tear in the space-time. Dr. Light also provided him a glorified surfboard that allows him to travel through the time wave.
That means only one thing!
Roll manages to break free from her cuffs and attempts to stop Wily again, but Wily accidentally opens the hatch, which causes Roll to fly out of the machine, which gives Wily enough time to escape. As that happens, Mega Man manages to save Roll, but they fall out of the time stream as a result. Back to the kids, they hoist up their Koi no Buddy, aka Koi flags for Children's Day. Why is this important? Because it just so happens that this is the day and location where Mega Man and Roll turn up, and they just happen to fall into the flags to break their fall.
Convenient!
They reconvene with Dr. Light and surmise that Wily will unleash his grand scheme on Tanobata, a holiday where everyone will make a wish upon a star. With that said, the team now has 2 months to prepare for the July attack, just as Wily is preparing for his assault.
I don't know how to transition these things, so here's a montage of me dancing in the back.
Two months have passed, and Mega Man, Proto Man, Beat, and Rush readies for space travel, thanks to Rush's modifications, and begin their attack as Wily fires his modified meteorites. Wily then dispatches his Oni robot, equipped with exploding laser grenades and retractable hands. Luckily for Mega Man, he
Attack its weak point for massive damage.
and quickly decimates the robot with a well-aimed shot at the grenade on its waist, and the resulting explosion disables Wily's fortress. Mega Man catches up to Wily and destroys the time machine to ensure that it will never be used again. Wily's returned to Earth, and Mega Man thanks Yuta and his family again. The episode ends with Mega Man and company waving goodbye, Wily included. Mega Man slides into a level where Roll is waiting for him, ready to battle alongside him. Mega Man says no, as he says it's going to be dangerous as he progresses, which Proto Man confirms as they both are about to battle one-on-one with each other. But then Roll hears a voice, and both Mega Man and Roll are pulled back into the real world, just because they were called upon. Apparently there's a huge festival going on, and Yuta and Akane want them to join in on the festivities, which they are more than happy to participate in, like racing in Omikoshi and playing games. Ooh, an Optimus Prime mask. Back in the game, it seems they forgot to turn off the TV, which gives Wily an opportunity to leave, but Proto Man stops him before he could. However, Wily gets the jump on Proto Man with his Skulker and makes his escape, but Proto Man manages to hitch a ride. Back in Japan, everyone is enjoying the fireworks, but then...
This time I'll show the Japanese people the real power of my robots.
What did we just watch? I don't know, was that part of the show? Hey, who cares? Let's continue to stare blankly and look happy. The kids reconvene to Dr. Light to discuss Wily's new plans, to which Proto Man bears bad news that Wily's Skulker now has time travel capabilities. Dr. Light, however, has good news.
Mega Man, I'm in the process of repairing the time machine so you can go into the future and take a look.
You mean go into the future?
You mean to the future?
So Mega Man and Roll decide to travel 1 year into the future to get an idea of where Dr. Wily could be. But unfortunately, the future looks bleak as Yuta's hometown is nothing but ruins, until a giant floating island appears overhead.
Ooh! Does this mean we get a Knuckles cameo?
Nope, the flying island turns out to be Tokyo as Wily reveals himself.
This is what Japan's future will be like.
I should have known this was your doing, Wily.
Well, of course it's Wily. Who do you think it was, Dr. Eggman? Wily then summons his robot army, consisting of his robot masters and transforming some of the city's buildings into enormous robots. The fight proves too much for Mega Man, so he makes a hasty retreat to the past. Consulting with Dr. Light and the kids, they decide to go 1 month ahead instead to see what happens. So far, it's September and the family is eating dango, aka dumplings, while appreciating the moon and its wonderful glory.
Can't you just feel it in the air?
The moment is gone as a typhoon is hurling towards Japan, which Mega Man worries it might be Wily's work.
Hey, you guys, go to sleep. Typhoons aren't that unusual around here. They're caused by low tropical atmospheric pressure, and this one will disappear pretty soon.
Now, you excuse me, talking about science makes me sleepy. Good night! Mega Man travels 1 more month ahead, just in time for the sports festival. While everyone is enjoying the sports fest, another typhoon is coming, just as Dr. Light contacts Mega Man and informs him that Wily is making a typhoon robot. Just as the typhoon arrives, Mega Man fends off the typhoon with a modified fan that can create cyclones. But while that is happening, Roll wants to play hero for a day and tries to help, only to get the time machine wrecked as a result.
Please, Mega Man, next month is Shichigo-san. I want to wear a beautiful kimono.
I heard that you made a promise with Akane. Well, I'll defeat Wily for you, okay?
Oh! So all's forgiven, I guess? While Dr. Light repairs Roll, Dr. Wily and his robots build his Typhoon robot so it can create the most destructive typhoon the world has ever seen. Autumn has finally come, but weather reporters state that another typhoon has appeared and say it is the largest in history. But how bad could it be? Oh my god! Giant tidal waves? Houses being lifted off the concrete? Holy shite, Wily! You're committing Roland Emmerich levels of destruction. But now's the time for Mega Man to battle Wily's Typhoon with the help from his companions.
Let's go, beat!
As Mega Man checks the perimeter, Wily's robot masters attack, including Elect Man from Mega Man 1. Mega Man makes quick work of them as he finally confronts Dr. Wily. But Wily came prepared with his Typhoon robot, and it proves too much for Mega Man as he is overpowered completely. Thankfully, Proto Man saves Mega Man just in the nick of time, and with one final attack, Proto Man and Mega Man use a combination of the Super Fan and Super Mega Buster, which I dubbed the Mega Whirlwind, to defeat Wily once and for all. Time passes by as Christmas comes by. Dr. Wily and Mega Man are giving out presents as Wily's atonement for all the damages he's caused as the episode ends.
I think the Japanese people will welcome a robot that will spread joy around the world.
That's no fun.
And that was the 3-episode OVA of Mega Man Upon a Star. And I gotta say it's alright. In fact, I'd say it's a mega meh. It had a few great things going for it, especially the great voice choice of Scott McNeil as Dr. Wily, which he would reprise his role for the American TV show. And seeing Andrea Leibman's early work as role is neat, as she would later voice Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy. Everyone else's dub work is fine. Not perfect or terrible, just fine. The animation is not bad for its time, and some of the action-oriented music does encapsulate the 90s anime aesthetic. Would I recommend this anime? Unless you're a hardcore Mega fan, I really don't, as this OVA was meant for kids. The anime is uncommon, but it isn't that expensive to say the least. Unless you're somewhat curious, give this Mega Man OVA a pass. But the real question is the American cartoon superior? Well, only time will tell. So until then, I'm Moon Spirit saying good night. Like this again.